Mataji, I spoke to Prabhu. He said he's joining.
No problem. I've connected. Not an issue. And it's going well. Hare Krishna, and thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna, everybody. With full Josh, back in class. Hare Krishna. I can't hear Hare Krishna from anyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Okay, so today, which chapter are we in?
Chapter 12.
Yes, this is the last chapter of Bhakti Yoga, right? Middle part. I've told you the first 6 is Karma Yoga, last 6 is Jnana Yoga. So the middle 6, the most sweet part is the Bhakti Yoga. So today we will be on the last session of Bhakti Yoga. Don't worry, the entire Bhagavad Gita is about Bhakti. So this 12th chapter is specifically designed for each one of us. And I will tell you why. Because the first thing which will come to our mind is, I wish I could do this, but I don't have time. I want to do this, but I want something lighter, right? So normally we have in this exam, right, one choice A or B, right? You have A or B. When you're choosing an answer, you can choose one of the questions, but if you don't know both, what to do, right? You don't get marks. But here, Krishna will be giving A or B or C or D or E. Just see how many options he gives, and we'll dive into the session for you to understand. Yeah. So let me start off with the Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimurandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Manchata Gachayini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivachadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Come on, all of you. Start. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Welcome, Mohandas Prabhu. No problem. Thank you.
Sorry, I was late.
No, totally. Hare Krishna. So, starting. So I'm so much used to seeing you even before opening the screen. So that's the Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. And now we are jumping into the rather marching into the chapter 12. And can anyone spot and tell me who are what is the picture all about? Whose photos are this?
It's about Panchatattva.
Very nice. Yes, Hari Bol, Panchatattva mantra. So who is this handsome guy in the middle?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes, and who is he?
He is Radha Krishna himself.
Exactly. So Krishna in the mood of Radha Rani, right? So and this very handsome blue color dress boy,
Nityananda Prabhu.
Nityananda Prabhu, who's none other than Dash.
Balram.
Absolutely. So Balram. And the first person here.
Advaita Acharya.
Yes, Advaita Acharya is?
Sadashiva and Vishnu together.
Vishnu, exactly. Vishnu in the mood of Sadashiva. So all the first three are the Vishnu Tattvas. Now, this someone who's in a pink color outfit.
Gadadhar Pandit.
Yes, and who is he?
Lalita Sakhi.
Gadadhara Pandit is Radharani herself. So,
Okay.
color dress, right? And the white color dress,
Srivastaka.
Srivatsa is
Narad Muni.
Narad Muni. So these are called Panchatatvas. Though it's called 5, but they are all in one. Normally, you'll see the expansions of Krishna coming and in all 4, right? First 4 expansions, quadruple expansion. Rama also 4, right? Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana, Shatrugna, 4. And everything will come as 4, right? Including Jagannath, Balram, Subhadra, and the Sudarshan Chakra. But here Panchatattva is in 5, but though they are 5, they're all 1. So now Gadadhara is the Shakti Tattva and Narada is the we are talking about is the typical Bhakti Tattva, the Jiva Tattva, the living person who's got the potency of the God. So Panchatattva mantra is what we chant before we start the prayers, and Panchatantra mantra is very powerful, right? Because this will be like a protection. Like every time we are out, we take a COVID vaccine, right? So Panchatantra mantra will protect us from anything which goes wrong in chanting, or even if we make a mistake in chanting, or even a day when you feel that you don't want to chant, the Panchatattvas get up and tell you, hey, get up, you have to chant. And trust me, though it might sound very different, but this happens, right? The day when you feel you're tired, you're sick, the Panchatattvas, each of them or all of them together will play a very important role to bring you back into the path of devotion. And why have we got this picture here? Because they are the epitome of devotional service. And let's pay our obeisances to Shri Radha Govinda. And what is it we saw in the 11th chapter? Yes, we saw the video. We saw Krishna's Virata Rupa. And then along with Arjuna, most of us got scared and we wanted to see the 4-handed form. So Krishna through Arjuna showed us the 4-handed, which is the Vishnu Rupam. And then the 2-handed Shama Sundara form. Okay. So now Arjuna is always attached to the 2-handed form because he knows very clearly, but he wants to clarify because there are multiple things which have come, multiple Rupas, 4-handed, 2-handed form. So people will be confused, right? If everything is Krishna, which form should I pray? So this brings 12th chapter as usual with Arjuna opening the innings through a question, asking which is great, Bhakti or impersonalism. And let's hear what it is. And 12.8 to 12 is what I told, bumper offer, right? For us, everything is difficult. So Krishna is telling, okay, I understand you. Everything is difficult for you. I'll try and see how I can simplify. 12.13 to 20. Qualities that endear one to Krishna. So come on, who's going to do the chanting of shloka? Who's going to read?
I'll try to chant, Mataji.
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. 12.1. Arjuna uvacha evam satata yukta ye bhaktas tvam pariyupasate ye chapi aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha.
Hare Krishna. I see you're chanting, Rajesh. I didn't know. I think your short stint as admin, you've really made full use of it. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Who's going to do reading?
I'll do Mataji.
Sure.
Arjuna inquired, which is considered to be most perfect, those who are properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Hare Krishna.
So now you can have a look. The question and the answer is clear. See this bulb and torchlight and this tube light which is flashing here is the impersonal Brahman. And this one is great. Now, if I tell you, I'm going to give you one of the 2 pictures. You want the light picture or the Krishna's picture? What would you ask?
Krishna's picture.
Krishna's picture, why?
Because like we can see the form of Krishna. It's like lot
Very
more
nice.
than just like light.
Exactly. So light picture, even if I ask you a simple question, okay, you are living in the house for how long? Each of you will tell at least 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. How many lights are in your house? Trust me, not even one of us can tell exact number. Yes or no? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do not pay attention to that. But if I ask you how many Krishna's photos are there, even if you have 10 or 2, forget about the number. Immediately, all the Krishnas in the house, all the pictures, all the post-its, all the what do you call that small little card, everything will flash before the eyes, right? Because that's the potency of the form, and that is where we get attached to. So Krishna is asking, Arjuna is asking, which is more perfect, in devotional service or the impersonal Brahman? And he says two set of people. They serve the Lord, and another, that is, they believe in service to the Lord. Another one is they believe in meditation. So Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, to be more precise. Jnana Yoga we'll study last. We did the 6th chapter Ashtanga Yoga in 6th chapter. So that is going to come back here, but we'll not do it in detail. We're just going to have a glimpse. So technically, Bhakti is discussed, in every chapter. 2nd chapter we spoke. What did we study? I'm not the body, I'm the soul, I'm the spiritual spark, right? And 6th chapter, we studied Bhakti Yoga is the best of all. Last shloka, right? And the 7th one says living entity is a part and parcel of the whole. And we have read that Krishna is energies and all that we saw in the 7th chapter. And 8th chapter, anyone who thinks of Krishna at the time of death always will go there. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, right? So therefore, and it also concludes by saying tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu sam anukala anuchanan yudhyacha. So every time you keep thinking of Krishna, all the time. Tasmat means therefore, right? So clearly antakale cha mam chaiva. So first thing is at the time, at the final stage, whatever you are thinking is what you will become. So yam yam vapi smaran bhavam certifies that, right? What you are thinking at the end is what you will become. And therefore it says tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anucharan yudhyacha mai arpita mano viddhir mame vaishyasya asamshaya. So it's like always keep thinking of Krishna. So that concludes the 8th chapter, which means like always study for this subject, right? So always keep thinking of Krishna and you'll reach him. So only way you can do that is by doing a service, right? You can't be thinking. Now it's all impression. What happens is whatever you are associated for a long time comes, right? If you see a ghost movie continuously for 3-4 hours or 4-5 hours and sleep in the night, you have a very restless sleep, right? You have, it's not that the ghost is there, but then your mind has started haunting already. Yes or no? Have you all tried this?
Yes, Mother.
Has anyone tried? I have tried. No? Okay, don't try. But what I'm telling you is what happens. So like, for example, even if you're staring at the window and if it's very dark, right? And when you're sleepy, you feel very creepy feeling. Same way, vice versa. So if you see a very laughy, very happy kind of a thing, happy mood, and then you go to bed, you feel very good. Especially for students, I can never forget this. If I've studied maths and I sleep immediately and I make it a point, I will never hit the bed as soon as I study. When I'm sleeping also, I'll be feeling like I'm doing the sums. Have you felt it?
Yes.
Yes, Mother.
Felt it, right? So I always used to make it a point that I used to at least take a 15-minute break totally off the books before I hit the bed when I used to be in school. So that is the thing, right? So whatever you think of, so if you keep thinking, that's why mother always thinks of the child, because all the time she keeps Dubai because she does service, right? She will give bath to the child, she'll take care of her or him, and she will feed the child, she'll cook for the child. Therefore, she is able to get the smaran, right? So one is Shravanam. Another one, the Smaranam also comes not just by Shravanam, but also by service. So that's exactly what we are practicing. Now 12.2 is, yes, Prabhu, go ahead. Hare Krishna.
12.2 Shri Bhagavan Maya Veshya Mano Emam Nityayukta Upasate Shraddhaya Pariyopitas Te Me Yuktatma Mataha. Hare Krishna.
Text side.
The blessed Lord said, he whose mind is fixed on my personal form, always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith, is considered by me to be the most perfect. Hare Krishna.
So the most thing, right? So he is very clearly telling, Krishna is telling that whoever is fixed the mind in my personal form, always engaged in worshipping with great and transcendental faith, is considered to be the most perfect. So personal form. So he has very clearly told. So where is the confusion? See, the Krishna is directly telling that my personal form. So in devotional service is very perfect. So why most perfect? Fix the mind on the personal form, worship me with faith and always be engaged, right? So Krishna consciousness is not material because everything we do for Krishna. So when I was in the beginning, You know, the deities of ISKCON used to be very colorfully dressed, very colorfully. Jewelry, have you all noticed? More than any other deity, right? ISKCON temples. So I had this feeling and a fear that I am, besides getting attracted to Krishna or Radharani, I was also getting very attracted towards the jewelry they were wearing and the dress. Yes or no? Have you all noticed?
Yeah, very
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, I thought the girls will tell. Yes, I'm glad the Prabhus are also telling. It's very, what should I tell? It's very attention seeking, right? It's very attractive. So I had my doubt and I asked my teacher, isn't that material? Because I am not focusing on just Krishna, but I am not on his flute, but I am focusing on his dress, I'm focusing on his jewelry, I'm focusing on the anklets which he is wearing, right? These are material, right? I mean, that was a feeling I had. And that time, she was telling me that no, Krishna, everything becomes spiritual. And later, after a lot of reading, I understood Krishna also, we say Nama Rupa, right? That means his name, his form, and paraphernalia. So, what does paraphernalia means? Everything, right? His dress, his peacock feather, everything is Krishna. So, if you see just a feather, it's Krishna. If you see, flute, it's Krishna. So, if you see just the dress, blue color, it's Krishna. So in fact, we all did an exercise, and I would want all of you all to go back home and do this exercise. I normally do this after the 10th and 11th chapter. So we saw this, right? And after, usually I do it in level 2, and mainly in level 3, but I would want to introduce this in level 2 too. So I've always asked the students, go back home and think the next day, what do you relate to Krishna? So I was thinking, okay, people will relate blue color to Krishna or sky to Krishna, but the kind of answers which came was so different. I'm not going to tell the answers today. I'll wait for you all to come back with your answers next week, and then I will tell you what others felt. So there are so many ideas which people got. In 7th chapter onwards, Krishna starts, right? Taste of water is me. Then in the 10th chapter, all the opulences you see, even in Kartikeya, and there, everything is showing, right? So therefore, I would request each one of you all, and it's an exercise which you love. Tomorrow, first thing in the morning, if you can just spend half an hour and work out or make a note on what are all the things which really remind you of Krishna, materialistic thing, whether it's a dress, whether it's a color, whether it's a sky or the flower or the blue or the green, whatever, right? That's a thing. So why am I telling? So that means everything when you think of Krishna is spiritualized. So there's nothing called material when it comes to Krishna. And so 12.3 and 4, he says that whoever who fully worship the unmanifested means the light form, is actually, that is the impersonal conception, is fine. But the various, what happens is he has to control his senses and everything. And such a category of person will reach me at the end. That is somebody who's doing light worship or impersonal worship, very rarely will reach. It will reach at the end only, unless a person is lucky. Luckily, if they come across a devotee, they will become blessed. Like, you come across Sukadev, who taught Srimad Bhagavatam. He came across, the devotees of his father, Vyasa. And he went and sat and heard Bhagavatam, and then he understood the effect of, Bhagavatam, and then Krishna being personal. If people are lucky to come across such things, then you get elevated. Otherwise, you get stuck in the light. So therefore, those who worship, he says, what and all, they are beyond sense perception. They are all pervading, inconceivable, unchangeable. All the qualities are there, fixed, immovable. But how do they worship? They only focus on controlling senses. We've done this enough in Ashtanga Yoga. I won't repeat it again. So what happens by doing that? It is very difficult for a common man, because for 1 second, if I have to close my eye, forget about closing my eye. If I feel I have to study maths or physics, maths is running one side, physics is coming, accounts and commerce, even if I have not taken the subject, comes in my head, right? So here, you don't want all of that to come. Therefore, I want to fix. So when I'm working out, let's say a maths or a science or a diagram, my diversion is less compared to me sitting and thinking what I should study. Likewise, what he's saying is, Krishna says that engage yourself in service. That is much better, right? On to 12.5. Hare Krishna. Yes, ma'am. Attendance is posted. Please go ahead and mark. Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. 12.5. Kleshodikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkam deha vatir avapyate.
So Krishna is also adding There'll be some fools like me who will tell, okay, so what? Brahman realization also, at last you told you will reach. So he's telling, boss, don't do all that because it will be very difficult, troublesome. Your journey will be very troublesome. Therefore, don't do. Is Krishna is telling. So path of impersonal is troublesome and very difficult. So Bhakti Yoga, those persons who are full Krishna conscious and engaged in devotional service are those. And the jnanis are, impersonal Brahmin. So they're talking about the difference. What happens? So meditating on the formless, very difficult. Deity is easy, right? If I'm giving you a picture and you all chose, right? You want the picture. So picture is not just a picture, it's a deity, it's a form of Krishna. Picture is also a form, avatar of Krishna. And it's beyond the senses, because restricting its senses is so difficult because senses is very active. Why do we call a mind a monkey? Because mind will not listen. Mind will do what it wants. Unless you put the monkey in peace, right? It's like mind is like one of those autistic child. Why? They say that autistic child is very difficult to control and you have to engage the child. Like that, your mind is very autistic. You have to control your mind. You have to tell your mind, do this, do this, do this. Okay, go get up for Mangalarti, put light for Krishna, come, let's make food for Krishna, then it will follow. If you tell, okay, think of Krishna, then it will think, okay, Krishna is blue, the girl I saw, the boy I saw is also wearing blue color dress, mind will go and it will take you elsewhere. And it will be very difficult to come back. So must understand the Brahman through Upanishad, right? That's how they do. How do? They read Upanishad. So you have to know Sanskrit, you have to have education knowledge, you have to have a lot of understanding. But understanding Krishna is very easy, right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. How much knowledge you need? How much of education you need? LKG enough, right? To do this? I'm not telling you should stop with LKG, but I'm just telling that's good enough. And you need a bona fide master who will automatically come. You will find the master will find you the moment Krishna feels you're serious about it. Long practice will make it very difficult because it's your own endeavor, whereas here Krishna is helping. Right? So on your own, if you're trying to hold Krishna, it's difficult, but Krishna is trying to hold you. You can even leave your hand, doesn't matter, you're not going to fall. But if you're going to hold when you're tired, you leave. That is what is happening in the Ashtanga Yoga. And there's no relationship. Why do families we love? Because there's a relationship. It's my mother, my father, my brother, right? Whereas here it's light. What will you tell me? How many of you all like your mother more than the tube light in your house? Who likes tube light? Who likes mama more than tube light? All of you, right? Because thank you. Because there's a relationship. Otherwise, there is absolutely no relationship at all. So now we are moving to the further features in the 12th chapter about comparison of the Bhagavan feature. So the Brahman, they feel that there is nirguna, which means there's no quality at all. Obviously, what quality you can expect in the light? Whereas in the Bhagavan, the Bhagavan has a form, we just say a form, paraphernalia, his everything, his leelas, everything are there. Brahman, you can't conceive at all, right? Krishna also has inconceivable potencies, but at least somebody can explain. So if I explain or Acharya explains, we'll be able to understand. But in a light form, how much someone can explain, right? So, these are some of the additional qualities which you experience. So this Brahman realization is like this. So I take you to a temple and behind the screen there is prasad and they show you the prasad and they explain to you, you know what, this prasad is amazing. It has great smell. You can taste. It's like rasgulla, it's everything. But how much ever I explain to you, you're not going to understand rasgulla. But if I'm going to throw that rasgulla in your mouth, then in that 1 second, you'll know, okay, what is. You don't need to see, you don't need to hear, but you get the feel, right? That is the feeling of the Bhagavan realization. You have the complete happiness. So you have the knowledge also you will get the knowledge by tasting that it is sweet. Then you will feel that lingering taste. So you will permanently remember, eternally remember, you know what it is and you will enjoy happiness. Now moving on to 12.6 and 7. Hare Krishna. Yeah, go ahead. Anybody can chant and anybody can read. There is no hard feeling about Rajesh and Chai alone. But I'm just keeping the floor open. Go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Yes, 12.6 and 7. Ye tu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasa matpara ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayante upasate tesham aham samuttarta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami na chirat partha maya veshita chetasam. Hare Krishna.
There's someone who can read? Okay, I can take it fast. So he's telling that one who worships me by giving up all the activities. Now it starts now. And being devoted to me without deviation, unalloyed, right? Why do we use unalloyed? What is an alloy? And what do you mean by alloy? Or what is unalloyed?
Is it like without any contamination, without any mixture?
Without any mixture. So copper, when mixed with gold, becomes an alloy. So unalloyed gold is your 24 karat gold, which is pure. So devotion, which is just not mixed at all, is the most important thing which is being explained. So that is called the unalloyed devotion. Okay. Right? And the next one which is talking about is the progressive stages of devotion. Living with Krishna by continuously fixing in mind, right? So this is what we are talking about as a heads up. So now they are talking about various, I told you, right? So many options, B session, but let's go through the various options. But continuously thinking, always keep thinking of Krishna. I told you, Sarveshu Kaleshu, always keep thinking. Now the next thing is, okay, I can't do that, it's difficult. Okay, follow the regulative principles, right? Do it like the sadhana, get up in the morning, chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regulative principles. Then your desire will come up, right? You'll automatically develop the desire. Okay, that also is difficult. Oh my God, it's so difficult. So it's okay. You can't work for Krishna, then surrender the work. Whatever work you're doing, why don't you do the next option of working for Krishna? Build a temple or work in the temple or do full-time teaching. Oh my God, what are you telling Krishna? It's just not possible for me. Because I want to be a free bird. I want to do what I like. Okay, no problem. Do what you like, but give the research to me. Right? So he's giving a lot of options. So now we are going to start with these options. It's called the Ananya Bhakti. That means always keep thinking of me. And let me just start with the sloka. Hare Krishna. Maeva mana darsyava mai buddhim niveshaya nivashishyasi maieva ata urdavam na samshayah. Hare Krishna. Please, one of you all read.
Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus, you will live in me always without a doubt. Hare Krishna.
Simple like Gopas, right? The friends of Krishna. All the time they were thinking, the Gopas, the Gopis, everyone in Vrindavan. Uddhava, right? He's just telling, just fix your head in me, that's all. All the time you will be thinking of me. Rest of the time is fine. What do we tell? Okay, Krishna, you want me to do devotional service by thinking of you all the time. Very pure. Fix your mind, fix your us in your mind, and you'll be there. Agreed. Not possible. Very difficult. Oh my God, is it difficult? Okay, then do sadhana bhakti. Okay, what should I do? Yes, Pradesh. Go ahead. Start.
Hare Krishna. 12.9. Ata chittam samadatum na shaknoshi mai stitram abhyasa yogena tato mam ichchaptam dhananjaya.
Hare Krishna. So he says, yeah, go ahead.
My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, you will develop a desire to attain me.
So regulatory principles of Bhakti Yoga is also explained clearly in Nectar of Devotion, which talks about 64 principles. So what he says is, okay, if you can't do sadhana bhakti, then follow the principles, whatever is book driven, because automatically you can't do. Manually you do. It's like people, they say, right? Some are natural swimmers, like cat, dog, even kids. When you throw them in the pool, they are very natural swimmers. So my daughter never taught her swimming. I threw her in the pool when she was like 4.5, 5 months. So she'll be able to naturally swim. So, but if you throw a child in the pool, or if I jump into the pool, suddenly when I started at 9 years, I had to learn the sadhana process. So naturally it doesn't come, right? So that is what the sadhana process is. You will learn through the regulatory principle. Those who have to, so because you have to achieve that stage of pure love. Ultimately, you want to reach perfection. So whether you do naturally or whether you artificially, doesn't matter. They say, no, oh my God, he is a born singer. Doesn't matter. I'm not a born singer. What do I do? Okay, I will go and learn Carnatic music. I will learn Kirtan. I will find a teacher and I will do. Same principle here also. How do I achieve? I will practice devotional service. How to follow regulation? Take the shelter of a guru. Qualification, anyone can practice, no problem at all. Guarantee of success, absolutely 100% guarantee. Right? So now we are telling, my God, Krishna, just forget it. So much sadhana and all I can't do. Give me an easy option. So Nishkama Karma Yoga. So there are two Karma Yogas. One is Nishkama, which means without material desire. Another one is Sakama. We'll do Sakama later, but right now we'll see Nishkama Karma Yoga. Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, 12.10. Apyase api asamartosi matkarma paramo bhava madartam api karmani kurvan siddhim avapsyasi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he's saying that if you can't practice the regulation, yes, I can't do that, then work for me. Na? See all the work you can do, building a temple or at least work for a temple, be a pujari, clean the temple, do something for me. No? You know, he's just telling you, so automatically you reach. Now the first thing which we saw, 8, 9, 10, surely you will reach Vaikuntha. It's like guarantee. These are three things where it's a direct ways, right? It's like I have the visa, I have the flight, it's taking off. There is no en route. I am directly flying on to Goloka. That's guaranteed. Now Krishna is not guaranteeing, but he's giving credits for the next. So we'll see what they are. So this is what it is, 8, 9, 10. Perform devotional service, follow regulatory principles, work for Krishna. So these three options he is given. How do we perform? He is told based on the 11th chapter. What is that 11th chapter, 55th shloka? Mat karmakit mat paramo. Right? So that means all the karmas you do for me, mat. Okay, mat paramo. Param, thinking of me as the highest. Okay, so you do nir svairagya, without any ego you do, you will definitely reach me, is what he says, right? So if you do so, what happens is, whatever you will have, let's say, land, capital, money, because they say every person has 4 things. What is the 4 things? Intelligence. Second is body, money. These 3 things everybody will have. No? Money will have, intelligence will have, everybody has a body. 4 is interest, right? So with all this, you will have. The 4th thing will be lacking, but at least 3 things. So he says that if you don't have, at least money you give to Krishna, land or whatever form, or at least give your intelligence or work. Na, if you don't have any of it, at least your body you can dedicate for Krishna. So do any of that is what he's saying. So build a temple, as I said. One cannot sacrifice the result. That is, if you can't sacrifice, at least give some percentage. So he's telling that work for him. If you can't work for him, you should at least give the results of the activity. If you can't give results, at least part of the results. That is what he's going to explain. Sakama, sa means with material desire. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, 12.11. Ataitad api asaktosi kartum madyogamashritah sarva karma phala tyagam tata kuru yatattvama.
Says that if you're not able to work in that conscience also, then at least give up the results or the part of the results, right? Do that. Now, can anyone tell me who's in this picture? And what is happening?
Nand Maharaj.
Exactly. So that is a picture of Nand Maharaj. And what is about the Nand Maharaj? Nothing. He is just trying to celebrate the birthday of Krishna. How during our times, what do we do? Hey, what gift you got me? Yaar? Come on, yeah, give me a treat. First, give me my gift. Yes or no? So these are the days where we receive gifts. But those are the days when during birthdays they used to give gifts. So what are they talking about is he will go ahead. Nand Maharaj had about 9 lakh cows. So he used to select Brahmins, very qualified people, not any Tom, Dick and Harry. All with jewelry, he used to donate cows. 10,000 cows on his birthdays were donated year on year, right? So that is how they used to do those days. So that means Dharma, not only Dharma, Dhyana was a part of it. Donation was built into it. So going back for the 8, perform devotional activity, I can't do. Then regulatory principles, I can't do. Work for Krishna, I can't do. Give the results at least, right? Reason why you may not be able to sympathize is we'll have so many challenges, so many problems, right? We always have problems. Family is not interested, husband not interested, wife not interested. So Krishna is giving so many options. Ultimately, we are itself not interested. So he's telling, okay, give up the results of the work. sacrifice whatever you've accumulated for a good cause, whatever you have done. They always say money which you earn should be kept as a secret and it should be used for the right cause. How it helps gradually to elevate them. Practically is social service, community service, everything is fine, no problem. But dovetail it with Krishna. So I always used to tell this, and it's going to be very boring for my admin, but I did only that. So this when there were floods and all, like we used to, and during COVID time, so we were actually giving a lot of food, right? So I, as usual, few of us decided to take send food, but that time only my guru told me, you give, but how long it will take for you to keep a small cup of food before Krishna? Take it and mix it in the Lord, because when you're giving, you're not giving food, but you're giving prasad, right? It's just a 5-minute work. Then you're not only distributing food for them, which you can help them for one day, but you're also giving them Krishna, right? Krishna, prasad, everything is same. The name, the form, prasad is a mercy. So you'll be giving that to Krishna. And for Krishna, anyone who spreads his name, all this becomes very dear to Krishna. By doing that one act, over and above getting the credits, feeding people, feeling happy, you also feel you're doing a very nice spiritual role. Hare Krishna, 12.12. Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, 12.12. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasa jnanat jnanam vishishyate jnanat karma phalat tyaga shantiranantaram. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he says that, okay, forget it. I cannot do all this. It's going to be very difficult for me. He says, okay, that is also difficult for you. What you can do is jnana you can give. You can just give your knowledge. That's the easiest thing. Practice, talk spiritual knowledge. But better than that, jnana, is meditation. We saw Ashtanga Yoga, right? So better than jnana yogi is Ashtanga yogi. Let's practice that. Better than that is giving the fruits, which is Sakama. So he's telling after Sakama, you will do Ashtanga Yoga. Otherwise, at least give jnana yoga. At least do meditation. So he's saying, so the picture is here. It says jnana or dhyana. Dhyana means meditation, not dana, it's dhyana. Okay, so he is telling. So very clearly we saw all this. So if I tell you all again, it's just the same thing which I had explained now. So slowly you will automatically go ahead. So topmost you will reach. So the same thing which is shown in various stage. And with that we end the section B. Right. So that's what I said. Normally the last three which I told you, Sakama and then Jnana and Dhyana, it's not assured. Especially the last 2, 3, it's a little slow process. And the last 2, you will get to reach Krishna only if you have the mercy of God. The fourth one, Sakama, at least, yes, you will have a chance. It's slow growth. But the first 3 is like your express, I think. And what does the section C talk about? Which is the last section. Talks about the qualities of Krishna from the highest to the lowest. So let's see what qualities they are talking about. Hare Krishna. Advesha sarva bhutana maitrei karuna evacha nirmamo nir ahankara samadukka sukakshama. Hare Krishna. Yes, please read. There is one more down. Let me finish that also. Hare Krishna. Santushtan. See the screen?
Yes, Mat.
Yes, Mataji.
Just 1 second. Now I think I removed it. Santushta satatam yogi yattatma drida nichayah mayarpita mano buddhir yomad bhakta same priyah. Yes, please read.
Oh, Hare Krishna, one who is not envious but is a kind of friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in the devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly he is telling Advesha Sarva Bhutanam, right? Maitreya means friend. He will be so compassionate and he will not have nirmama, means no proprietorship, no false ahankar, ego. That's the biggest issue, right? And he will see same feeling he will feel for happiness and distress. And he is also somebody who's very controlled and very steady. He has his mind, everything under control, and such a bhakta is someone who is very dear to me. So Krishna is now telling who are all very close to him. So all the qualities which I told, Advesha means non-envious at all. some of the qualities. Santushta, very satisfied, right? Nirmamo, no sense of proprietorship. Drida Nischaya, very steady. Tolerant. Krishna has been highlighting tolerance, right? The second chapter, and in the 9th chapter, again in the 12th chapter, he's talking about never disturbed under any circumstance. See, today I'm appreciating Prajesh telling that, okay, you're doing good. Suppose I come and tell, what, Prajesh? What are you thinking? You're not even listening to me. You have an attitude problem. What will happen? Pradesh will be only thinking of that for the next 48 hours. Yes or no? Even I feel like that. If you all come and tell me what Mataji you are teaching is not at all interesting, it's boring, I feel like sleeping. If you tell that, I'll be thinking, oh my God, I'll be so upset, right? So what happens is we are so much used to body. We're so much used to bodily conception that some people are so stuck at the body level. So yata atma. So all these things, right? Self-control, completely perfect mystic, all this kind of qualities, how do you get it? You will be able to get only when you move to the spiritual platform. Slowly, you will start feeling it as you progress your readings. Hare Krishna. So Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th chapter, 14th canto, 8. This one is Prabhupada's most favorite one. Tate mukam pamsu samikshamano bunjanaye vatma kritam vipakam ridva vapubi pidadam namaste jiveteyo mukti pade satayabat. Hare Krishna. Can you please read this one here?
My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So he's telling, now he's giving guarantee, right? Such a beautiful thing. He's telling, oh Lord, whoever is waiting for you by giving his heart, word, and body, right? So heart. So normally, what is the differentiating factor between, which I told you, 4 things, of which 3 is here. So what is the difference between mind and the heart? Mind people relate to intelligence, and heart people relate to the soul, right? By giving that, what happens is automatically their revelation is guaranteed. So what is the thought process? He thinks that Lord's mercy is there. How this is Lord's mercy? Because he thanks for all the past year. If he has suffered, he thinks, oh my God, I've got a cut. So this happened during Prabhupada. When he hurt his finger, everyone told, oh my God, you're a devotee. How did you get cut? He said, I should have lost my hand. I just got a cut. Many times we feel, right, there is also a problem in the house. They'll tell, oh my God, you should have had a bigger hit. I'm glad you had a small punishment. Why? Because we always, a devotee thinks that I should have got hit more, and God just saved me, bam, such a huge thing. And whatever has happened is due to my past need, and it's because of karma and not Krishna. Whereas a non-devotee will tell, why me, Krishna? Why only me? I am so good. Yes or no? You felt this? I am so good. Why? That person is bad. That person is happy. Only me. Yes or no? Have you all felt it? We used to feel that when we are many times, right? But as you start progressing, you will start thinking, okay, whatever I'm suffering is all because of karma, and maybe the effect is much reduced. So I am more calmer, I am more peaceful and non-envious. Such a person, liberation is guaranteed. So Krishna is giving that guarantee. Yes, Kana, go ahead and chant. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. 12.15. Yasman no vijate loko loka no vijate chaya harsha marsha payotvegair muktoya sacha me priya.
So Krishna is telling that such a person is very dear to him. How many times he's telling Priyasi, Priyame, Priyatiye? So he keeps constantly telling that such a great feeling. Such a person is very dear. I can never forget. And does anyone know the story? Does anyone know the story of this is the one in the picture? Okay, so this is a story of Shiva trying to talk. So everybody is there. You can see Narada Muni, see Vyasa, everybody is sitting, and Shakti, Parvati Ma, she doesn't have a place, so she's sitting on the lap of Shiva. And that time Chitraketu is like one of the Gandharvas. He was a king and then he gets into the thing is flying. This is not a building, it's a flying Vimana. It's a flight. And he is going Vimana Shastra, which means subtle energy flights are there, was there, are still there. We can't see it though. And he is just grinning. It's not that he feels bad or he's complaining, but he feels Shiva is an exalted soul. And nobody felt bad in that place. Neither did he feel. So he was feeling that, oh my God, if Parvati is sitting on Shiva's lap, maybe, it may not set a good example, right? And Shiva understood it in the right spirit because he's a very exalted devotee. So he understood. But Parvati Ma could not give it. So she got very angry. She got very upset. She thought that he was making fun and she immediately cursed, telling that you're going to be born as a demon. And he is taking the birth as a demon and he never even asked. He said, thank you so much, and he accepts it. So that's the quality of a devotee, right? Never causes distress to others, and therefore, one more example is Prahlad. He is just does not affect anyone and is unaffected because he's always in Krishna consciousness. Nobody can disturb him. Prahlad's story, all of you must be knowing, right? How much the father tortured him, but nothing affected him. He has never had anxiety. He was always in a very relaxed platform. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Please.
Hare Krishna. Yes, ma'am. Anapeksha Daksha Utasino Katavyata Sarvaramba Parityagi Yo Mat Bhakta Same Priya.
So Priya, how many times he will tell, I love you, I love you. Nobody would have told us so many times I love you in our real life also, right? Nobody would have told. Even otherwise, it will be for one season and that love you will go off after a few years. Look how many times Krishna is giving, and this is eternal. So he says a devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who's pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and who does not strive for some result is very dear. So in one line, without expectation is very, very dear. Example of Sudama, right? Sudama had no expectation at all. He came to see Krishna, even though his wife asked. Wife is also very nice, chaste lady. But at a very bad state, see, literally his bones are seen, but he never had any expectation. He was very happy. Such a person is very, very dear to Krishna. So, yes, please go ahead.
Yo na hrishati na dveshti na shochati na kankshati shubha shubha parityagi bhakti manya same priya.
Very dear to me. Such a person is very dear. One who neither enjoys nor grieves, who neither laments nor desire, neither renounces both auspicious and inauspicious. Again, same example of Prahlad. At the age of 5, he is kept under the legs of the wild elephant. It's not doing anything. They are hitting him and they're trying to poke. They are trying to poke. Nothing is happening. He is nothing even. They literally throw him also from the mountain. Nothing happens. Right? So that is a exalted. He only keeps chanting. And that's a specialty. Unaffected by material desire, neither happy nor thing, and he neither laments. And such a person is not bothered about auspicious and any kind of risk. Krishna takes care. Nothing will be an impediment. Such a bhakti man, such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. 12.18-19. Please someone read. Very nice meaning. Yeah, please read. Sorry.
12.18-19. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equiposed in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contamination, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge and engaged in devotional service, is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he says, whoever is equal to friends or enemies, right? Whether it's honor or dishonor, heat or cold, happiness or distress, fame, infamy, very difficult, right? Just now I told you, if I scold you all, you become upset. So will I. And imagine heat. In the heat, if I have to go in the sun, I will make sure I wear my cooler. Many of them carry umbrella. At least we wear caps, right? And cold, if we have to take bath, oh my God, can we keep the heater on still longer? Yes or no? All this we feel. If we have to have a cold shower on a cold day, oh my God, the very thought will make us sick. And, so all this, and is anyone who will teach friend, and we may forget of enemy, We may even forgive an enemy, but we can never teach a friend and an enemy in the same path, right? Won't be able to. Can anyone in this room treat a friend and an enemy equal? Not even.
No, Mataji.
It's so difficult. So here now moving on to this particular story is about Amrish Maharaj. Does anyone know the story of Amrish Maharaj? Does anyone know the story of Amrish? Yes or no?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, then Rajesh, why don't you go ahead and tell me the story? Tell everyone the story.
Yes, Mataji. Ambarish Maharaj was a very great devotee of Lord Krishna. It's also given in as an example that he followed like all the he used all of his five senses in service of Lord Krishna. He was a really great devotee of Lord Krishna. So it's like he kept Ekadashi fast like every Ekadashi, and like he used to keep Nirjal Ekadashi fast. So he used to not drink water also. So what happens was like once when he was keeping that fast, the next day on Dwadashi, when he was going to break the fast, I think it is Durvas Muni. He comes to the uh, palace, and then uh, he says Ambarish Maharaj that he should break fast only after like Durvas Muni like goes for some meditation and comes back. So Ambarish Maharaj will be waiting for Durvas Muni to come back, but then by the time that Parna time would have almost reached the end, so he will still wait, but Durvas Muni won't come. So he decides to just take some water in order to break the fast. But then just when he was about to take water, Durvas Muni comes, and then he sees Ambarish Maharaj, and he becomes really angry. And then Durvas Muni says that like he did not give respect to him, so he calls a demon to kill Ambarish Maharaj. And Ambarish Maharaj was a devotee of Lord Krishna, so he did not react anything to that situation. He was equiposed. He didn't get angry. And then what happened was looking at this, but thing is that since he was a great devotee of Krishna, Vishnu Sudarshan Chakra came behind Durvas Muni, and then Durvas Muni he uh, started running to like Lord Brahma to ask Lord Brahma to save him from Sudarshan Chakra, and then he then goes to Lord Shiva, and Shiva also says that he cannot do anything. Go to Vishnu, and when he goes to Vishnu, Vishnu says that like I've sent this Sudarshan Chakra to protect my devotee, so you go and ask forgiveness from my devotee Ambarish Maharaj, then I'll forgive you. So then Durvas Muni comes back to Ambarish Maharaj and asks for forgiveness, and Ambarish Maharaj forgives Durvas Muni, and then the Sudarshan Chakra disappears.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Rajesh. Very nicely said. So basically, what they say, the Sudarshan Chakra is a very big devotee of Krishna, and he's personally protecting Amrish. And finally, Amrish had to beg Krishna for mercy, not for himself. What would we do if an enemy does what we do? See, you nicely got it right. Because you did this to me only, see that person is suffering. That's a very immediate, instant thing, even if we don't do harm. And that standard is considered to be very high, right? Okay, you're so elevated that the devotee did something wrong and he is being default punished. But look at Amrish, he is like so forgiving, and he says that if at all you feel I've done any amount of bhakti, please make it a point that nothing should happen to such a great devotee like Durvasa Muni. And that's the point, right? Krishna always favors the best of his devotees. So these are the very qualities, right? Sama, Shatrucha, Mitra. Whether it's an enemy or a friend, he treats equally. Manapa, Manyo, equal-poised, right? Mana, equally you do. Sanja, Vivar, Chita. So you are always free from any association. Sangha means association. And Vivar Chita means free from any contamination. Anikethaya, he is not at all bothered about anything for instance, right? He is very cool. And Mauni means Mauna Muni, you know. He talks only limited things. Nectar of Instruction first says this. Vacho vegam, mansa krodha vegam, jigva vegam, udra prashna vegam, etan vegan, visesha diraha, sarvam apiman, pratimimsha sishyat. Clearly the 6 things which you have to control. Of that, Vacho comes first. And santushto yena ke nastil. That means somebody who's completely santushta means self-satisfied, right? Sthita Mati is completely fixed in determination. And bhakti of all. This is a person who will reach the highest. And summary of the qualities is very, very clearly that telling that of all the qualities, everything should be towards bhakti. That is the thing. There is something called Tatastha Lakshana, which means secondary, and Swarupa Lakshana, which means primary. So what he is telling is bhakti is the Swarupa Lakshana, which means the primary is bhakti. Whether you're fully doing jnana or karma, it doesn't matter. Bhakti has to be there, and that is very, very important. And the next of the auxiliaries is attitude to how one feels, right? And dealing with others, how he is, right? He should be non-envious. All the qualities are given here. He should not have, like, attitude for himself is he should not think I'm the boss. He should not think I'm the body. He should not think that Sarva-dharma Parityaga, I'm going to give up all my duties. No, that should not be the attitude. How do we deal? He will deal with kindness. He should not be envious. He'll be equal with friends, right? And without cares. Cares means he treat everyone equally and free from any contamination. What happens to his reaction? Right? He's always satisfied. Someone scolds, doesn't matter. He's satisfied. He's self-contained, self-controlled, equipoised, neutral. Anapeksha means he's neutral. Doesn't side anyone. Neither rejoice nor he's upset. And he is actually equal. Good thing happens, bad, inauspicious, doesn't matter. How does he deal with the law? Determined. His mind is always fixed. He's engaged in devotional service. Such a person, these are the qualities, but these are secondary. But the primary is called Swarupa Lakshana, essential qualities. That is the must. And with 12.20, what he says, he who follows this imperishable path of devotional service and completely engages himself with faith, making me the supreme goal, is very dear. So finally, he also says, dearest of all, why? One who makes Krishna as the goal. So if you make that as the goal, he becomes extremely close to Krishna. Hare Krishna. So with this, we conclude the chapter. And what did we see? We saw Arjuna starting with personal or impersonal. Then we saw Krishna analyzing, okay, the best 6 things option. Always think of me. No, Krishna, not possible. Okay, do sadhana bhakti. No, Krishna, not possible. Do neshkama karma. That is, do the work for me. No. These 3 surely you'll reach. Okay, not possible. Okay, at least give the results to me or a portion of the result. Okay, let me think. That may be difficult. Okay, why don't you then do the Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana? Okay, that's also difficult. Okay, do at least, Jnana Yoga, right? So these are the things which Krishna is telling. So Krishna is giving so many choices. And finally, he's talking about qualities of all the devotees, right? So with this, we come to an end. Vancha kalpa durubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha ananta koti vaishnava Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Come on, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna devotees, Hare Krishna to all.
Krishna.
Yeah. How is the chapter? Nice, no?
Yes,
Yes,
Tomorrow onwards it will become heavy. Not tomorrow, next week onwards, because we are going to study about the jnana. Jnana is always heavy, knowledge. So now the bhakti is a sweet part. The whole Bhagavad Gita, as I said, is bhakti, but more intricacies of jnana will open. So I hope you all are doing the quizzes and you all are enjoying. Any doubts you all have in this chapter or any of the chapters? Hare Krishna, any doubts? If there are no doubts, we can finish.
I think there's no doubts, I think.
No doubts? No problem. So then we'll finish that class. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare